Hello everyone. We are again meeting together for the rapid revision of pathology, a new session after a long time. I must at the outset thank you all for the responses given to my previous videos. Now today we are trying a new method of presentation. In other words, this will be like exam real time or real life experience of questions and answer. And the exercise today is a simple one, which is hemoglobin estimation. I am sure you have done it in the first MBBS, second MBBS, and maybe asked in many other places, because hemoglobin is such a important and primary investigations. So we commence today's exercise with the request again to subscribe to my channel, Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh, Pathology, and I welcome your comments on the pattern that we are adopting today of question and answer session in the Viva pattern. Thank you. So we commence today. And before we start, I would like to introduce my junior colleague, Dr. Nandini.
Hello everyone.
And she will be answering and demonstrating some techniques and some theoretical questions. So we begin. So Nandini, could you please tell us about the Sahali's method of hemoglobin estimation?
Sure, sir. So let us first start and familiarize ourselves with the instruments that we will be using. First of all, we have Sahali hemoglobinometer. The Sahali hemoglobinometer comprises of two things. First is the Sahali's graduated hemoglobin tube, and the second is the comparator box. In the Sahali's graduated hemoglobin tube, we have two markings. The markings in red, they are in percentage, and the markings in yellow, they are in gram percent. For the purpose of hemoglobin estimation, we use the gram percent marking, which is given in yellow color. Then the comparator box. In the middle of the box, we put this graduated tube, and on the sides of these box, we have two brown glass markings, which are used for the comparison of the color which we developed. Then further, this is the hemoglobin pipette. The hemoglobin pipette has a marking here at 20 micron liter. This is the glass rod or the stirrer. Then we have the dropping pipette. And in the reagents, we will be using two reagents. One is N/10 hydrochloric acid.
May I interrupt you? What is N/10?
Sir, N/10 stands for the normality of the solution. Normality means 1 gram of solute which is mixed in 1 liter of solvent.
So 1 normal means?
1 normal means 1 gram of HCl which is mixed in 1 liter of water.
Okay, 1 ml maybe of the...
1 ml.
1 unit.
1 unit of the water.
Okay. 1 unit of the HCl diluted in the
distilled water.
Right.
Then we have distilled water, and we need EDTA blood sample.
Now, if we don't have EDTA sample and the patient, can we do this test?
Yes, sir. We can also use a finger prick for this technique.
So either finger prick or
EDTA sample.
And for how long the sample should be processed? Say after the collection, 2 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours.
So the sample
within
6 hours we should process.
So we should process the sample for the correct results within 6 hours in the oxalated or vacutainer. Okay, next.
Should I start with the procedure, sir?
Yes, please.
So, first of all, in this graduated hemoglobin tube, we will take n by 10 HCl till this 2 gram percent mark. So here I have taken n by 10 HCl till the 2 gram percent mark.
Suppose by mistake we take slightly more,
Then so we can re-aspirate and put it inside
but
the
will
bottle.
that change the results?
Yes.
No, it's okay. If slight increase in the collection will not, because we are going to dilute that only.
Okay, sir.
Right.
So now I'll be taking the EDTA sample and we will be aspirating using the hemoglobin pipette or the Sahali pipette.
Is it essential to shake the sample?
Yes, sir. We need to mix the sample before aspirating.
In the lighter vein, in the corona times, you better sanitize the bit which we are going to put into the mouth. Okay.
We will wipe off the excess blood which is present on the outside using a filter paper.
This is very important step. Yes.
Then I am putting the blood inside the hemoglobin graduated tube. Then we will use this glass rod stirrer to mix it. Now we will keep this for 10 minutes for the reaction to take place.
This is looking reddish in color. After the action of the
Acid
HCl, it will turn
into brown color. So after 10 minutes, now we will add drop by drop distilled water. And stir it. So I have added 2 drops. Now I will stir it with a glass stirrer again and look for the color matching. While we are trying to match the color, we have to take out the glass rod but not take it out completely. We have to keep it on the top like this.
This is very important step because oftentimes I have observed that in the examination, when the students are asked to show the results, they show the results with the stirrer in the tube, and that is a mistake. You have to remove the stirrer and then show the results to the examiner.
So I am adding more distilled water now and mixing it. We will continue this procedure till we get an equal color as compared to the brown glass standards.
So you need a good light for a comparison.
Yes, sir.
Background light.
It is still a bit darker. Few more drops and we will be done. The color is now matching that of the brown standards which are present.
That's very good. How will you take the readings with the graduation facing you or?
The graduation to the side, like this, and the lower meniscus.
Right. Correct. So, what is the result you got?
Sir, my result is, need to take out this glass tube while we are taking the result. So, it is around 8 gram%.
Okay. What is the normal range of the hemoglobin percentage?
Normal range in males is 13 to 17 gram%. In females, it is 12 to 15 gram%, which are non-pregnant females. In pregnant females, the normal levels are slightly lower, that is 11 to 14 gram%.
Good. Now, I have two comments to offer and one question. Why the hemoglobin is less in females?
Because in pregnancy, hemodilution takes place. That is why the hemoglobin levels falls in pregnancy.
No, that is correct in pregnant women. But my question was, why in general, when we say the normal values, it is more in males than in females? Invariably in exams, the student answer after a bit of thinking that because the females are menstruating, their hemoglobin is less, they are losing the blood. In that case, all the females in the reproductive life would be anemic. It is not that. This is because the correct answer is the males have androgens. In other words, they have testosterone, which has got hematopoietic activity, and therefore, in general, the males have higher levels of hemoglobin. So please remember this point, which is frequently asked question in the Bible. How accurate is this method?
Sir, during the conversion, only 95% of the total hemoglobin gets converted to acid hematin. To convert the entire hemoglobin, we need to keep this for 1 hour, but we only use it for 10 minutes because we do not have time to keep it for 1 hour. That is why the level that we get is slightly low than the normal hemoglobin level of the patient.
Could you please repeat the principle of this test?
In this test, we are converting the hemoglobin to acid hematin by using the N/10 HCl, and this is a visual colorimetric method in which we are comparing the color with the brown glass standard.
Is this the best method?
No sir, the best method is SignMeth hemoglobin method, which is a photocolorimetric method.
What is the disadvantage of SignMeth hemoglobin?
SignMeth hemoglobin method uses the Drapkin solution. The Drapkin solution comprises of potassium ferrocyanide, potassium cyanide and a non-ionic detergent. The cyanide in the Drapkin solution is toxic. That is why that is a disadvantage of the SignMeth hemoglobin method.
Tell me some other methods of estimating hemoglobin.
Apart from the colorimetric methods, we can use gasometric methods in which we have the Vance-like apparatus, and we measure the amount of oxygen carrying capacity of the blood to calculate the level of hemoglobin. Then similarly, we have a chemical method in which we calculate the amount of iron which is present in the RBCs to calculate the hemoglobin amount. And then we have a specific gravity method,
which is used in blood bank, I think.
Yes,
donation camps are there.
Yes, sir. The specific gravity method is only a screening method which is used to screen for the donors in the blood camps. Here we use the copper sulfate solution in which we drop 1 drop of blood from a height of 1 centimeter and see whether it is sinking in the blood or it is floating in the solution. If the specific gravity of copper sulfate is 1.053. So, which is equivalent to 12.5 grams of hemoglobin. So, if the drop sinks in the solution, that means the patient's hemoglobin level is higher than 12.5 and he is cleared for blood donation.
Now, basic question again is anemia. There are two definitions. One is the oxygen carrying capacity. Now suppose I am citing you an example. Suppose there is a road accident and the person has lost lot of blood, say 2 liters of blood, and brought to the hospital. Then we estimate his hemoglobin by say Sahali's method. It will come normal or?
Sir, it will come out to be normal because that is an acute case of blood loss.
But because of blood loss, his oxygen carrying
Then capacity will be lower. Yes.
So in the definition, both the components should be mentioned while writing the theory or answering the question. So there is a concept, something like erythron means total body red cell mass and its capacity to oxygen carrying capacity. Are there any abnormal hemoglobins?
Yes, sir. Hemoglobin, as we know, is comprises of heme and globin. Heme has iron and protoporphyrin, while the globin molecule, they are chains of amino acid. And in adult hemoglobin, we have 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. However, if any mutation takes place in any of these chains, that can lead to the formation of an abnormal hemoglobin.
So which is the most common abnormal hemoglobin encountered in our population?
One of the most common abnormal hemoglobins is HbS, which is for the sickle cell anemia.
Sickle cell hemoglobinopathy.
Pathy.
Hemoglobinopathy is a different subject altogether, and we will discuss it sometime later. Okay. Now, any conditions in which hemoglobin is increased?
The condition in which hemoglobin is increased is known as polycythemia, and that can be an absolute polycythemia or a relative polycythemia.
So essential polycythemia or polycythemia vera.
Primary and secondary.
Okay. Good. I think we can conclude the discussion on hemoglobin by Sahali's method today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.